What up, dude bros? I'm Frank. This is a review of my painted Modulus. No, just kidding. This is a factory blaster from Newisland. I think it's called the Super Blaster Sharpshooter. So a knockoff Modulus. Let's get into the review. I just need to take a second to acknowledge the awesome sauceness of this box because of this marketing here. Safe, exciting, intelligent, and funny. Top. Yeah, bro, marketing. English is tricky, bro. I feel you. Anyways, on to the review. It's configured sort of like a Modulus, but this stuff isn't included. It comes just like this. But going over the externals of this blaster, it's very similar to a Modulus. Up front, it has a nozzle that's not an in-strike nozzle because it's not a Nerf blaster, but it's so totes compatible with the in-strike stuff, so you can attach in-strike barrels. Why do patent laws even exist anymore if Chinese manufacturers can just hold up their middle finger right at them? Modulus barrel. Fits on there. It's a lot tighter than a standard Nerf blaster. It doesn't feel quite as refined. We find that often in third-party blasters like this, but it's compatible, and once it's on there, I mean, it's better to be tight than loose, right? Because otherwise it would wobble off. Attachments are not included with the blaster. The nozzle is just compatible with in-strike stuff. Moving back a little bit, a front iron sight that flips up like that, which corresponds with the rail sight, or the holes inside the rail up here. And that flips up and down nicely. Down here we have this little miniature rail. It looks cool, and it is like technically a functional rail, but it's just so small that I don't have any attachments that would realistically fit on there, but it has the little notch in there equivalent to the in-strike tactical tooth on the rails, but it's not a Nerf gun, so it's not technically in-strike, but it's totally a copy of it, and like these rails are compatible with Nerf attachments. Right behind that is the battery tray. This blaster runs on 4 AA alkaline batteries. To get to those, you take out the single Phillips screw, remove the battery cover, install your 4 AA batteries, and reinstall the cover, just like the Modulus. Up top, there's another Tactical rail right here, but it's covered by a Tactical rail. Yeah, railception up in here. This is a pretty cool concept because if you don't want this like carry handle thing, it's actually a removable component. So you can like pull it off, and that's a rail attachment, like so rails upon rails, literally. And when you remove the carry handle rail, you expose the bottom 2 rails right here and here. These rails, along with all the rails in this blaster, are compatible with the in-strike rails. I don't think the fit is quite as refined, but it's not an actual like in-strike rail, like I said. I don't have batteries in this red dot sight, so the wobble is reasonable, but if you have a heavier rail attachment, it might become an issue with that wobble. And if you don't like the front sight like an AK dude, you can always run it in the back like everybody else. Or if you want the carry handle, which is included, it also has a rail up top, but it does consume most of the bottom rails. It's really a cosmetic piece, and in my mind, it kind of turns it what looks kind of like a demolisher into what very much looks like a Modulus, minus the colors. That might just be me, but that's totally what I'm seeing here. And you can just slide that on like this, and it has a front hook up in the front that connects into the little attachment tooth to secure it. And this rail also has 2 little sight holes that would correspond with the front sight, or you don't even need that because you have 2 points of contact, so that's all you need for a line segment. But 3 for the extra accuracy. That's a joke. And in the back of the rail, you have this dual like sling mount type of thing, which is cool looking. On each side of the blaster here and here, you have Tactical rails, very much like the Modulus. Once again, it really is just a third-party Modulus or rip-off Modulus. So you can attach your gangster sight if you want to shoot like a G. That's or you know, a flashlight or something practical to have on the side of a blaster. Don't judge me, whatevs. Have you ever played Nerf in the hood? That's how you do it. You put your sight over, I've never played Nerf in the hood. Batteries in my GPS died one time and I did go in the hood, but that was the only time. So I suppose I'm not really a credible source on that topic. Next, let's just move on, Franklin. Down below is the magazine well. Believe it or not, it works just like the Modulus. The magazine release is right here. Blaster comes with 2 magazines, a 10-round banana-style magazine that looks like the Modulus mag, and a 6-round magazine that looks like the 6-round Nerf magazine. And you guessed it, it's compatible with Nerf magazines, so boom, done. I just thought I can finally wear an orange shirt on screen, but nope, magazines disappear. Gotta get that contrast though. While the magazine well is compatible with Nerf magazines, I don't think the design is quite as refined as a Nerf blaster, and I say this a lot about third-party parts in general. But when you take out the magazine, it takes a little bit more pressure and a bit more, I suppose, precision. It's not as easy to bump that magazine release. And inserting that magazine, the tolerances just aren't quite as refined as the Nerf stuff. But moving back on the blaster, it's a flywheel blaster. Lower trigger is a rev trigger to rev up the blaster. Primary trigger is to fire. This is a mechanically controlled trigger that fires 1 at a time, just like the Modulus, so you can go pew 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 if you're holding down the rev trigger. Then down to the grip, you have some cool like fake texturing or whatever, like some stippling up in here, I don't know, and then a sling mount down here. It's a comfortable grip. It feels like an in-strike grip. Actually not like the Modulus grip because that is all weird, but the shapes are very familiar to the in-strike line, kind of. I mean, it's comfortable. It's not gigantic in size, but this is one that should be comfortable for most hands. Then up to the stock attachment point, as you can probably guess by now, it's compatible with Nerf parts. That is the regulator stock attached, and removing removing and inserting the stock, just like the other parts, just isn't quite as refined. It's a really tight fit, so you're yanking it off, and you're also yanking off the barrel. And that white stock looks silly, so, you know, blue stock from Worker for the win. Third party, it's a party up in here. And in the center here, you have an access door to clear out any jams. I fired this blaster a few hundred times and didn't have any jams or malfunctions, but it's there primarily in case you use a crummy dart and you need to get in there. Although I can't get in there with my hands, it's a really tight fit. So I have to, yeah, it does open, but my fingers aren't strong enough, I suppose. I might break a nail. I'm the guy who drops the dresser first because I'm too scared that everybody else will let go and then they'll crush my fingers. It's like a phobia of mine. So yeah, I accept my weakness. I just won't jam it. Then I don't have to do that. Yeah, so operating the blaster is exactly like a Modulus. Do I need to explain that? Put in the batteries, load up the magazine, put it in, shoot it like a flywheel gun. Let's see it fire. Shooting the Newisland darts out of the included 10-round banana mag. Blue darts on black background, probably didn't see many. Now the white Modulus darts, so you can see them. Now some white Econ darts, which are very similar design to the waffle head, but they're white, so you can see them in the air. And a few more of the blue Newisland, the same brand as this blaster, into the white background over there to compare to the white Econ darts. Believe it or not, using this blaster is really similar to a Nerf Modulus. Ergonomics are very similar to it as well. No real comments on performance. I didn't have any jams or malfunctions though. So relatively smooth operation. I put this blaster up on my chronograph and I got an average of about 75 feet per second, which is just above the market par right now, so cool. Side note, BT dubs, these gray darts are included with the blaster. They're the suction cup darts. They don't perform very well. These blue waffle head darts, which I used in the firing test, are the waffle heads by Newisland, the same manufacturer of this blaster. The rep sent me a few hundred of these to test out, and these work very similarly to the Econ darts. Econ, Little Valentine, now Newisland. A bunch of these waffle head darts are on Amazon, and they're third-party darts, which are usually less expensive than like AccuStrike darts and yield really excellent like accuracy. The included gray suction cup, not worth using at all. I wouldn't say these are better or worse than any other waffle heads, but all the waffle heads are turning kind of into the same to me. All these waffles, where are the pancakes? Should not record videos while I'm hungry. So objectively and empirically, this blaster does what it's supposed to do. It shoots a little bit hotter than normal. You know, I didn't have any jams or malfunctions. And the color scheme, especially with the star, Merca, red, white, blue, heck yeah, bro. Where a video review lacks is the overall fit and finish of the blaster. I can't give this blaster to you, so I have to tell you, the nozzle and the stock attachment points are not as refined as Nerf components. Well, actually, this entire blaster is just a step down from a Nerf gun. Not in a huge way, and if you pick up all the third-party blasters and then you pick up a Nerf blaster and you can't tell the difference, you probably won't notice a difference with this one either. But generally speaking, across the board, all the off-brands are just a little bit less refined than Nerf brand blasters. And this is no exception with the stock attachment point, the front, you know, the Nerf rails aren't quite the same. This access door, which I can't open with my bare hands, and the magazine well. The magazine well, in my opinion, is the most important annoyance out of all of these because that affects you multiple times per game. Hitting the magazine release is just a tiny bit more of a challenge, but it's not like a huge deal. But considering the price point is right in line with the Modulus, I was expecting this to be just as good as a Modulus. A third-party knockoff like this, which is just so clearly, blatantly a ripoff, I think should be like half the cost of the name brand product. But this one is about $30 US on Amazon. I think I recently just saw a fully equipped Modulus, like not the bare bones version, for like $36 US, and the bare bones Modulus is about 30, which is what this is pretty much. Bare bone meaning it doesn't have the attachment, the sight, the stock or anything, it's just a Modulus. So if the cost is equal, I would definitely recommend the Modulus. It's a more refined blaster, the performance is similar. I think the Newisland blaster is shooting a little hotter on the chrono, but the overall fit and finish and ergonomics of the Modulus make it the go-to, in my opinion. Not gonna make a versus episode, that's the conclusion of my verses. But if for some reason you just really hate the Modulus but want a Modulus-like blaster, this is definitely an option. It's very similar to the Modulus. Link in the description box to the Amazon page to this blaster if you're interested in purchasing one. If you have the money and you're looking for this type of thing, I'd recommend a Modulus though. Although the Newisland waffle head darts are very much like the Little Valentine darts and the Econ darts, which I've reviewed on my channel. So if those are out of stock or you prefer this because the Little Valentine darts have Little Valentine printed into every dart, which I think is incredibly tacky, the Newisland ones are a great alternative. I'll leave a link in the description box to these as well. That's my review of the Newisland Modulus. This blaster, whatever. Thanks so much for watching, bros. As always, stay tactical. Super Blaster Sharpshooter. Safe, exciting, intelligent, and funny. Top. Product instructions. The Fantastic Elite is designed to bring entertainment and lead people to fighting game. The blaster gun comes with quick reload clip and darts suitable for age 6 and above. Follow the instruction. Singular. 2 load up parts with batteries and quick reload clip. Start fire now. Hey, the box writer knows more English than I know of Chinese, so I can't really judge. But I'm an American. Speaking one language comes with the territory. Deal with it, world.